Morning, my name is Peter Carson. I'll be your captain for today's flight. It is Royal Flight 162 to Acapulco. And for my first officer, Chris Lewis, and Paul DaCosta, who's our second officer today, welcome on board. We'll be departing from Toronto, heading to Monterey for a fuel stop. That leg of the flight will take us 3 hours and 59 minutes. After a 30-minute fuel stop in Monterey, we'll be continuing to Acapulco. Flight time from Monterey to Acapulco is 1 hour and 29 minutes. And both legs of the flights will be flown at 29,000 feet. Our return flight from Acapulco to Toronto will take 4 hours and 23 minutes, and that will be at an altitude of 28,000 feet. Right now, we'll be looking at our weather package that has been processed for us for the flight and our NOTAMs. So right now, the weather in Toronto is quite clear. Temperature is -7 degrees Celsius and fairly strong winds from the west. And Chris, how's it looking in Acapulco?
Not bad. It looks pretty good all the way down. We got some strong winds. We're crossing a couple of jet streams on the way down. But getting down towards the Caribbean, it should be pretty clear. I think they're calling for 2,000 broken down there and some light winds out of the west.
Okay, that's great. Now our alternate for the first trip to Monterey is Tampico.
Yeah, Tampico is holding pretty well as well. I think they're the same at out of the southwest at about 12 knots.
Okay. And for Acapulco leg, it's Zihuatanejo.
Yeah.
Our alternate, and that's clear as well.
Here. Yeah.
That's great. I wish everyone a good trip. We'll be on the way to the aircraft right now, and we'll see you there.
Clarence, good morning, Roy 162, gate 54 with India to Monterey.
Roy 162, Clarence, good morning, cleared to Monterey Airport via the Toronto 2 departure. Victor 443 Aylmer, direct dryer, flight plan routing. Depart runway 33 and squawk 0553.
Okay, 162, Monterey, Victor 443, Elmer, direct dryer, flight plan off 33, Toronto 2, 0553.
Bring back is correct. Pushback contact apron. Good morning.
It's on.
153? 164 V2. 190? 225. 235. Focus 1,000. Okay, and for the weight balance, 202, 810, yes?
164, not 154, but the weight is the same.
Okay, we check, 164. Thank you. Okay, all right, Chris, Paul. Right, this will be Max Ross, left seat takeoff from Toronto, runway 33. Noise bay flying 3,600 feet. Standard calls. TOCA is at 1,000 feet. Departure is on a Toronto 2 SID, which reads for runway 33, climb on a runway heading of 327 to 1100 ASL, left turn onto 320 heading to intercept 343 radio, Toronto, outbound. Maintain 343 Toronto outbound for vectors to assigned route. Climb to and maintain 5,000 feet. It's in the window. All right, any malfunction prior to V1, we received it, called it out. Should I decide to reject, I'll call reject. Perform the reject procedure, which is simultaneously close the throttles, apply max brake, extend the speed brakes, max reverse on operating engine, stop on the runway, deal with emergency on the runway.
Oh, for pressure on the control column, note the speed of reject, advise ATC.
I'll protect central, call the number of operating reverse, check the brake pressure, depressurize the aircraft, and notify passengers to remain seated.
Okay, after V1, nothing to be done except for silence the bell and gear up. Still established at TOCA, after which we'll assess the situation, clean up, and come back and land.
Good morning, Apron American 632, we're approaching.
Apron, Roy 162, gate 54, push and start.
Roy 162, back your discretion, call for the counterclockwise taxi.
Counterclockwise, Roy 162.
Below the line, please.
Parking brakes,
Released.
beacon,
On.
door warning lights,
Checked it out.
8 pumps,
They're both off.
galley power,
Is off.
start valve master
Not
switch,
applicable.
packs,
Both off.
Start pressure.
46 psi.
For start checklist complete.
Okay, we have been clear to push. Brakes have been released. The system has been depressurized. You are clear to push. Set up for a counterclockwise taxi. And this is known as insert 121.
Off your right and hold short of Alpha Lima.
Glacier 470 will hold short of Alpha Lima after the dash 8.
Ontario 203, ground 21-9.
The delivery as well.
Ontario 323, let them know you're the second dash 8, ground 21-9.
Okay, we'll let them know with the second dash, 21-9, Ontario 322 is in.
Apron Ontario 247, 82 Bravo, first question.
Ontario 247, back your discretion, call for taxi.
Start number 1.
Start valves open.
Check enter.
Oil pressure's rising.
Fuel monitor 2. Turn number 3.
Turning 3, time check.
Start valves open.
Check enter.
Oil pressure's rising.
Checks in 1.
Delta Bravo left turn, short of Alpha Kilo 1990.
Glacier 470, ground 2165 as you approach Alpha Lima.
2165 approaching Alpha Lima, Glacier 470.
Apron Roy 162, taxi.
Runway 162, runway 33, hold short of Alpha Lima.
Short of Alpha Lima for 162.
Apron Air 123, push gate 71.
Clear right.
Air Canada 123, give way to a company RJ right to left, and back your discretion, call for taxi.
Clear for the push after company RJ Air Canada 123.
Ontario 305, ground 21-9.
305.
Ontario 247, let them know you're the second dash 8, ground 21-9.
15, please.
247.
Pressure's in
Runway
quantity check.
162, ground 21-9.
21-9, come on.
Oh, I see it.
Attrition 6232 ground. We're clear of Whiskey 1 on the Primer Road. Check you're all done, thanks.
Ground Roy 162 is coming out Alpha Lima.
Roy 162, thanks. Taxi via Bravo and Victor for 33, altimeter now 3001.
3001 Bravo Victor for 33 Roy 162.
Bright and shiny.
Roy 162, just use caution as you turn on the Victor. It might be a little slippery there, and tower's 18.7.
Okay, we check that, thanks. Over to 18.7.
Only in Toronto, eh?
Glacier 470, turn left heading 180, stay with me. The wind is 290 at 15, clear takeoff 24. Left heading 180, we'll stay with you. Glacier 470 is now cleared for takeoff, runway 24 right. 247, contact departure 24. 2884. Row 162, Toronto Tower, taxi to position 33.
All set?
Yes, sir.
Position 33 Roy 162.
Packs are on, PA's dialing, ignition's on, auto pack trip switches normal, CSD oil coolers to ground off, transponder to me.
On?
Radar.
On.
Lights and strobes.
We're on.
Before takeoff checklist is complete.
Roy 162.
All set.
All set.
There to go.
Before takeoff, checklist is
404.
complete.
404 turn. Still no final figures there. We can block anybody here? No, you're the only one for the left side right now. Advise when you're ready. Sorry, I missed that. You're the only one out there for the left side. Advise ready.
Foxtrot set, N1s, check.
Yep.
80 knots, checks.
Glacier 470, contact departure 2880. 2880 for Glacier 470. So long. Tower good acre is 43 and 1 5. 43, Toronto Tower, morning, clear to land 24 left, wind 290 at 15 and 20 knots, lost 10 to 15 knots at 100 feet.
Rotate. Positive rate. You're up.
They've got a apologize. 404, roger, hold short for landing trim. Apologize.
Toka.
Left 5.
320.
I didn't get a light on the right gear door.
Left 5 green light. Checks. Showing up here.
It's out.
Row 162, contact departure 2880.
128, so long.
Flight first.
Departure, good morning, Roy 162 out of 1900 for 5,000.
On first set.
Yep.
Ontario 305, contact Toronto 1270. 270, Ontario 3051.
Departure, good morning, Roy 162 is out of 2500 now for 5,000.
Royal 162, you're identified, climb to 15,000.
To 15,000, 162.
Gears up.
Departure Glacier 470, level 3000, heading 180. Glacier 470, you're identified, turn left 090. Actually, if you're able... Departure, good morning, Air Canada 123 out of 2700 for 5,000 up 33. Air Canada 123, your radar identified, maintain 5,000. 5,000, Air Canada 123. These level 7,000. Glacier 470, roger. You got traffic off your right, northbound. Presently, the 10 will be descended to 8 to DC 9. Glacier 470, look up before right.
Up, up, left.
Aircast 570, your radar identified. Maintain 6,000. Maintain 6,000.
Gear.
There is 247, Toronto
Flaps are
33.
up, brakes are out. Hydraulics checked, ignition's off.
13922, Toronto
Fuel
heading
systems
360,
checked, auto
join the
capture
final
switches
approach
to
course
cutout.
straight in NDB approach. Circle 26, the city center, the
Pressurization
altimeter,
set.
Toronto
After
3001.
takeoff checklist is complete.
Thank you.
27, Roy 162.
Mike, thank you, and the front letter. Okay, thank you.
Center.
After reaching our cruising altitude of 28,000 feet, flight attendants begin the breakfast service. Royal took to the air on April 29, 1992, when a Boeing 727 left Toronto for Vancouver. Since then, the fleet has continued to grow, and so have the number of destinations serviced. Royal enjoys a reputation of excellent service, which has earned the airline several awards, such as the Charter Airline of the Year Award.
Hello again. We're level at 28,000 feet right now. We've been in the air for 1 hour. We're currently overhead of Dayton, Ohio. And on the map, our route of flight today takes us just to the west of Cleveland, overhead of Dreyer. From there towards Dayton, Ohio, which is our position at this time. Continuing on in between Cincinnati and Indianapolis, down towards Evansville, Indiana. From Evansville, we head overhead of Little Rock, Arkansas, down to Shreveport, and overhead of Houston, Texas. The aircraft that we're flying in at this time is a 727-200. The registration is Canadian Golf Romeo Yankee Papa. Its all-up weight is 210,000 pounds. It has a max zero fuel weight of 144,000 pounds and a max landing weight of 161,000 pounds. In a few moments, we'll be going over the instrumentation on this aircraft to give you a better idea of how it is equipped. The instrumentation on this aircraft is somewhat standard. We have our radar altimeter, which we use for our approach sequence in the aircraft for landing. It tells us the height above the ground in 1,000-foot increments down to 500 feet, at which point it becomes 10-foot increments. Directly to the right of that is the airspeed indicator, combined with the Mach meter. We're currently indicating an airspeed of 305 knots at a Mach of 0.78. Directly below the airspeed indicator is our RMI, which is radio magnetic indicator. The needles indicate ADF stations, and they point towards them with a rotatable compass card below. As you can see here, we are on a heading of 240 degrees at this time. To the left of that is our clock, which is set to Greenwich Mean Time, or Zulu time. It is currently 5 minutes past 3 in the afternoon, Greenwich time. To the immediate right of that instrument cluster, we have our two major instruments which we deal with. The top one is the ADI, Attitude Direction Indicator. It shows the attitude of the aircraft in relationship to the horizon. The white line there is the horizon. The light blue above is representative of the sky, and the dark black is representative of the ground. Right now, I have selected on our flight director system heading mode as well as altitude hold. Those are the two green arms on the attitude indicator. If we would wish to climb, we can select a higher nose attitude, which will result in an aircraft climb. If we would like to descend, we select a lower nose attitude. Directly below the ADI is the HSI, Horizontal Situation Indicator. It depicts our tracking horizontally across the ground. As you can see, we are on a heading of 243 degrees with our course bar, which is the green line again, centered. The information that it is receiving right now is from our global positioning system to enable the autopilot to track our flight plan. Also co-located on this instrument are the VOR indicators. As you can see, we have just passed by Dayton, Ohio, as indicated with both the red and the green VOR indicators. To the immediate right of the HSI and ADI are altimeters. As you can see, we're currently at 28,000 feet, and we have a standby altimeter, which again reads 28,000 feet. Directly below these two altimeters, we have two IVSIs, instantaneous vertical speed indicators. The one I am pointing to at this time has our TCAS system co-located with that. That's Traffic Collision Avoidance System. We're currently on TCAS with a 12 nautical mile range, and the small aircraft in the middle is representative of our aircraft. As this is an electronic instrument, we do require to have a standby vertical speed indicator, which is pneumatic. Directly below these two IVSIs is the DME indication. That's distance measuring equipment. And as you can see, it is counting up from 38 miles. We've just passed by Dayton, Ohio. To the right further is our pre-select, or our altimeter altitude select. This enables the autopilot to capture the altitude and level off at our given altitude. Directly below this, there are two instruments. This is very similar to our ADI. It is a standby horizon. It has its own separate power source in case of emergency. And further below that are position indicators showing the position of the flight controls. In level flight, the left and the right elevators are faired or neutral. And in the Boeing 727, it is equipped with two rudders, which are hydraulically operated. And the indications for both are depicted upper and lower rudders. Further to the right are our engine instruments. 727 has three engines, number 1, number 2, and number 3. All engine instrument parameters are reproduced as for the three engines. The first being the engine pressure ratio gauge. It depicts the pressure difference between the air going in the front of the engine and that being ejected out the rear. Down below is our N1 fan percentage speed. It's the fan at the very beginning, or the front part of the engine. It is currently indicating 85%. Directly below is the exhaust gas temperature. It's the temperature of the exhaust gases as it exits the rear tailplane of the engine. It is currently indicating 465 degrees. Slightly below that is the N2, or internal speed of the engine, which is indicating 87%. And finally below that is the fuel flow. Fuel flow indicator is marked in thousands of pounds per hour. And right now each engine is burning 3,700 pounds of fuel per hour. Final instrumentation on the aircraft are our flap indications. We have two sets of flaps, inboard and outboard. Currently in cruise they are both up and with a maximum deflection for landing of 40 degrees. The gear lever, in order to raise the landing gear and lower it for takeoff and landing. In the 727 we operate the landing gear lever in the off position to reduce hydraulic pressure on the system. Directly below there's three lights that indicate low oil pressure or filter bypass. Our long-range navigation that is equipped on this aircraft are dual GPS, or global positioning system, accurate to within 100 meters. We're currently heading directly to Pocket City, which is 149 nautical miles away, and we'll arrive there in 25 minutes. In between the two GPSs is our radar for onboard weather detection. As it's a clear day, we have selected standby. To the left is our transponder with our discrete code of 0553. It lets ATC or air traffic control know our altitude, our speed, and identifies us as Royal Flight 162. Directly below are the ADF control heads to tune in for either en route navigation or approach phase. And directly below that is our flight director control head. Okay, further down is our throttle quadrant with the three engine throttles, 1, 2, and 3. There's also a speed brake lever, which allows us to slow the aircraft down in flight, and it also deploys our landing spoilers to reduce the lift on the wing when we land. Directly below is our trim wheel, alleviates the pressure on the control columns during flight. Our three fuel control units for engine starting and shutting down. Of course, our parking brake, which we set on the ground, and our low-speed trim. for our cruise trim. Directly below is the autopilot head for the control unit. Currently selected for aileron elevator use and long-range navigation. Directly below our communication and navigation radios. Below that, the control heads for first officer and captain for our selections on our audio panel. And directly below that, the trim for the rudder and aileron trim. And we move to our overhead panel, which shows our hydraulic power control units, which are the on-off switches for our flight control systems, our yaw dampers, which dampen out Dutch roll tendencies in the aircraft. Below that, our anti-skid panel to prevent lock-up on the brakes during landing. From there, our stall warning, our passenger address levels. Below that, our compass system and vertical gyro control panels. We also have on board 2 long-range communication systems, HF radios. Moving to the top, again, our engine start quadrant, which allows us to start the engines. Our alternate flap switch for hydraulic columns. We can extend our flaps using electrical motors. Our no smoking and seatbelt signs. Below this, our cockpit voice recorder and our second high-frequency radio. Continuing up to the top, our windshield heat control panel. We must heat our windows as it is minus 45 degrees Celsius outside the aircraft right now. Below this are wing and engine anti-icing controls. Below this is our pitot-static heat control system. Prevents icing buildup on our pitot-static system for correct operation of the altimeter and vertical speed indicators. Below this, our lighting panel for inside and external illumination. That is an overview of the instrumentation on the Boeing 727. Royal Airlines operate 7 Boeing 727s, one of which is unusual in that it is equipped with winglets, enables it to fly considerably higher and quite a bit further than normal. 727 was one of the most popular feeder aircraft for the airlines. It's been in operation since 1960. It's an extremely strong aircraft, very fast, very maneuverable. It's a joy to fly.
Morning, I'm the second officer or flight engineer on this flight, and we're going to take a look at the flight engineer's panel. Starting up here is the electrical system. This measures our DC volts right now on the battery. It's measuring 28 volts. We have a battery switch. It remains on in flight. Here we have our AC generator drive. The generator drive comes off the engines. We have for engine number 1, 2, and 3. You can check the oil temperatures coming in and coming out of the generator drive. Down here we have our bus ties, which connects all the generators together, ties them all into one bus. These are the main generator bus switches. Lights out mean they're all on. These are the field switches for each generator. Here we have the loads. It's measured in kilowatts. Right now we're measuring about 10 kilowatts per generator. This measures the frequency and the AC volts coming out of the combined generator bus. They're showing about 116 volts, the frequency of 400. Here's the essential power. Essential power remains on generator number 3, and it's not changed through flight unless we have a failure. Galley power is here. is the power switch for the front and the aft galley. Up here we have the oxygen system. It's just a gauge. Minimum requirements for oxygen is 1,500 psi for crew and for passengers, basically over water. Emergency switch which deploys all the masks in the back of the aircraft. This switch here is for the auto pack trip. It's used on takeoff, and what it does is if it senses a drop in EPR in any of the engines, 1 and 3, it will cut off air conditioning.
Miles to touchdown. Forward viz.
Costera 2342, ¿alguna posibilidad de menos?
Airport's in sight about 1 o'clock.
Roy, 16210, degrees to your right, enjoying the final approach course. The airport's at 1 o'clock, 5 miles.
Roy 162 has the airport in sight.
That's clear for the beach. I'll call the tower 18 miles long.
18 once long.
Ups 30.
Monterey Tower, Roy 162 is about 4 final on 11.
Roger, 162 inside, clear correction. Continue your approach, runway 11, wind calm. Traffic, runway 3 about takeoff.
Roger.
Flaps.
30-30 green light.
Hydraulic and brake pressure check before landing checklist is complete.
Thank you. There's MDA and 500 feet above ground.
Visual landing.
Check.
162 clear to land, runway 11, wind calm.
Clear to land 11, Roy 162.
Buenas tardes.
Brake pressure checks.
$70 knots.
Brakes on.
162, continue via Bravo, Seashore 121.9.
21.9 on Bravo.
Up. After landing check, please. Small. Brake pressure checks. Thank you. You're clear. Okay, shut down 1 and 2, please.
Down on 1 and 2.
Our next much-awaited flight in the cockpit takes you aboard Royal's Lockheed L-1011 for a round-trip flight from Toronto Pearson to Las Vegas.
Nose to the west.
Check.
Going up the same way we came in.
Yeah.
Fueling completed, we're ready for the continuation of our flight, now bound for Acapulco.
Okay, clear to turn. Let's turn number 1, please.
Turn 1, time's taken.
Start valves open.
Checks into. All right, let's go 515, please. Check. All right, ready for control checks? Ready. Rudder is going left, indicating neutral. Right, indicating neutral. No lights.
Ailerons left, neutral, right, neutral, no lights.
Pressure checks. Thanks, Judy.
Elevators down, neutral, up, neutral, no lights.
Tower Roy 163 is ready.
163, clear for takeoff, runway 11, wind calm.
Clear for takeoff, Roy 163.
2315, ¿cuál es su matrícula?
Somos el Sierra Hotel Eco.
Recibido, gracias. Buenas tardes.
Igualmente.
Lights are on. PA is complete. Ignition's on. Auto pack trip switches. Normal CCL solar is to ground off. Transponder DME.
On,
Radar.
on.
Lights and strobes are on. Before takeoff checklist is complete. Check.
Pretty stable, time's taken.
Set max thrusters.
Max thrust is set, and 1s are checked. 80 knots.
Checks.
T1, rotate. Positive rate.
You're up.
Monterrey, La México, 223.
Aguanta unión autorizado para aterrizar pista 11, viento cana.
Toca.
Tower Antonio.
5, please.
223, buenas tardes, continua aproximación directa, reporte 3 millas, tráfico Falcon, final corto.
5-5 green light.
Checks. Climb thrust.
163, see sugar 119 at 05. Have a nice day.
1975, 163 so long. Monterey, good afternoon. Roy 163 is out of 2,700 for 4,000.
Roger 163, radar contact, climb and maintain variable 290, leaving 4,000 fleet, 4,000 feet to right on course.
Okay, we're cleared to 290 out of 4, right turn on course, Roy 163.
559. Checks. Climb thrust. Set.
2-2 green light.
Pop up.
Mexicana 2, autorizado las altitudes publicadas para Ciénega. Y aquí su visita menor.
anticipated approach into Acapulco Airport will be an ILS 28. The Acapulco Airport is on the coastline. We expect radar vectors to an initial track of 281 degrees. Our decision height today will be 216 feet. And the Acapulco Airport runway is 10,830 feet long, 150 feet wide. The weather right now in Acapulco is clear skies, temperature 30 degrees Celsius, and just scattered clouds. The winds are from the west at 15 miles per hour.
Descent checklist is complete.
There's transition 2984 inches.
2984, sir.
2984 inches. Electric panels check. Seatbelt cycling on. Cabin pressures check.
210 vectors, Lomas down to 3,000, Roy 163.
NES
Not required.
closed. Altimeters.
2984 inches set.
2984 inches set.
2984 inches set. 10,000 foot check is complete.
Thank you.
Check. Put you back on the VOR. Runway is in sight for Roy 163.
Give me a call.
4 for 3, you're clear to visual on over to 18.5.
Remote tour, I think.
Tower, good afternoon, Roy 163 is swing to 3,000 and we have runway 28 in sight. Okay, we'll call you turning final, Roy 163.
Coach checklist.
Yes, please.
Cabin is secure. Altimeters.
2984 inches set.
2984 inches set.
284 inches set.
Disregard 3,000 for the minute.
6.
GPS VHF transfer switch.
VHF now.
HF nav.
Nav aids.
Set and identified.
Set and identified.
Set identified. Coach checklist complete.
Two green light 186.
6 left 5.
Five green 157.
6 left 15. Gear down before landing checks to the flaps, please.
15, 147.
Missions
Tower,
on.
Roy 163 is 7 miles fun.
Left 163.
Clear to land, Roy 163.
Speed brake.
Arm green light.
Gear.
93 green.
90 skids checked. Holding at the flap.
Left 30, please. Final landing fix.
30 green light.
Hydraulic brake pressure check for landing checklist complete.
Above ground.
Checks, visual landing.
Check.
Rather large bird. feet. 50, 30, 10. Clear reverse, brake pressure checks.
Knots.
Checks. Romeo or remote 4 they've given us, wherever that is. Got that, Chris? Remote 4?
Remote 4.
Yeah.
Well.
Alfa 3 ahora 20 millas, radial 020, cruzando 7500 por 11500. Hotel Julieta, sin tráfico, visión reportado, libre cambio de frecuencia, 20 millas al Sierra Whisky de Puebla, 18, 2 para aproximación de aterrizaje. Hotel Julieta, gracias. 5308, el ascenso, visión de ruta aprobado.
Clear switch. You are clear, shut down.
Shut down 1, 2, and 3, please. Down 1, 2, and 3.
Very nicely done.
All passengers disembark here in Acapulco, and during the 50-minute turnaround, which includes loading, fueling, and catering, our flight engineer completes a full inspection on the 727. Passengers are now boarding for our return flight to Toronto, and we return to the cockpit with our first officer in control of the aircraft for this leg of the trip.
DME.
On.
Radar.
On.
Lights and strobes.
Are on.
Before takeoff checklist is complete.
Checks, Chris, you have control.
Have control.
Turn left.
Check, clear right. Stand them up.
1, 2, and 3 are stable.
Max thrust.
Thrust is set, and 1's checked.
Oh, hang on, 2.
Ready knots?
Check.
171, rotate. Positive right, gear up. Stoka, ups 5.
And 270 heading.
Checks. For Roy 163. Come on, Chris. Coco departure to Roy 163, 1300 feet off, 128. Time for a set. Flying VFR to join the airway for Roy 163. We're just going to take it out a little past the Badgers. Next speed is 217. Good. Substitute. Taken here on the TCAS, it was American Airlines MD-80.
As our crew will initiate descent into Toronto shortly, we would like to thank you for flying in the cockpit with us on Royal's Boeing 727 to Acapulco. And we look forward to welcoming you soon on Royal's L-1011 to Las Vegas.
24 runway. Okay, right, early 0, stand 548, thanks a lot. 296, clear 3000.
Up to NOAA, 2300, no flags on the right, flaps 30.
Hydraulic, brake pressure check, forward landing checklist is complete.
Toronto, good evening, it's Roy 163 inside the Norwood left side.
Roy 163, Toronto, clear to land 24 left, wind 270 degrees, 5 knots.
75, so it's going to drop off pretty fast.
Yep. All checks are complete. Clear to land.
Looks like you got about 20 knots on the nose.
American 1045, exit right, ground 1219. 219, good night. Night.
Feet above ground.
Check.
Air Canada's 756 inside Norwood left side.
Canada 756, number 2 for 24 left, traffic is half mile final, wind 270 degrees, 10 knots.
100 above.
Check.
Decision.
Visual landing.
Checked.
100 feet. 50. 30.
384, status frequency clear takeoff runway 24 right, wind 270 degrees, 10 knots.
Clear takeoff, 24 right, remain at frequency Canadian 384.
Reverse brake pressure checks.
Roy 163, able high-speed Delta 4.
Yes.
That's perfect, sir. Thank you, ground 2191 off, Air Canada 756,
job.
cleared to land 24 left, 280 degrees, 8 knots.
Clear land, analog, Canada's 756.
Landing, please.
That's 296, Delta pop to the gate.
To the gate, 296.
Brake pressure checks. Clear.
Canada 756, taxi on Delta for Delta Quebec, 90 miles.
Canada 756, Delta Quebec to the gate.
We've arrived back in Toronto on gate 34. It's currently 9 o'clock local time, Toronto. We left this morning at 9 o'clock in the morning, Toronto time, for our trip to Acapulco with a fuel stop in Monterey. Total flight time today was 10 hours and 30 minutes. Our duty time has been 12 hours for today. I thank you for flying with us. I hope you enjoyed the trip. We certainly enjoyed taking you down to Acapulco today.